We're gonna open these eggs that failed to hatch. This could be really gruesome or it could be uneventful.
Look, a turtle! Yeah, I saw a turtle. Oh, I love a giant shell. Oh, make it close. Okay. It's cool. It's close. Did it get hurt or something? It looks like there's blood right there.
Hey everybody, it's Art from the Art and Bree channel. We found a box turtle right in our front yard this morning. And I wanted to give kind of a quick nature lesson, especially for kids, about box turtles. They can live to be 30 and 40 years old. Some people say they've lived up to 100 years. If you look at each one of these little shapes, there's growth rings. They go out from the center and you can kind of count them out like rings on a tree. 1, 2, 3, 4. Some people think that you can tell a turtle's age by these growth rings, but you can't really. They more relate to scarcity and abundance of food. So the shell grows faster when there's an abundance of food. Dogs often will try to chew on box turtles and eat them. They have pretty good protection. I think this one's gonna be okay. If you're looking at a box turtle and want to tell the difference between a male and a female, the easiest way is that males tend to be more brightly colored on their necks and their faces and their front legs, and they tend to have bright red and orange eyes, whereas females tend to have dark red or brown eyes. A few words of caution for you kids there. If your parents say it's okay, it's usually okay to pick up and gently hold a box turtle. But they can carry a dangerous bacteria called salmonella, so it's very good when you're done touching a turtle to wash your hands very well.
And don't suck on it.
If you find them where your dogs run, carry them out and set them, not too far, but carry them out and set them in the woods or by a creek.
Ow.
These elderberries don't look so great. I don't think I had enough root for my green, or even though I cut them back. I put up a shade cloth to try to protect them from the sun. I haven't totally given up hope for them yet. They may start from the roots. My 3 cherry trees are looking good. I've kept them watered. It's been dry. I'm watering everything. They're leafing out, and these blanched leaves are actually turning pinkish green, which is perfect for a cherry. Let's check on my plant starts up here. These mint plants are strong and healthy, and I've checked the root systems on them. Of course, this mint, it's growing. My comfrey, some of them are doing great, but something's eating them down here on the ground. So I'm gonna take these and put them on the picnic table to try to keep them up away from the slugs. Next down here, we have willow. The willows are all dead, but I think I know why. I've been learning a lot about starting plants from cuttings, and starting them without a mister or a high humidity environment just doesn't consistently work. This little cutting, it developed 2 roots, but it's not developing roots fast enough to hydrate and support the leaves that are above. The grapes that are down here, I'm still not sure if any of them are gonna make it. Some of them still have great green leaves on them. Somebody's watching me. I'll show you what I did inside a little later with hardy kiwi cuttings to protect them from this drying problem. We have barn swallows in our barn. The cool thing about swallows is a lot of times mating pairs will actually pair up together again in the same locality every summer. But in the winter, they migrate and they go as far as South America. A lot of them go to Central America and overwinter, and then they come back to the very same place. I brought along this little handheld mirror so we can check on the swallows in their nest. Eggs. How many eggs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 5 swallow eggs in this nest. That's 5 more, hopefully 5, beautiful swallows to fly over our fields. The garden's looking good. I should be out here later today thinning carrots, thinning lettuce, picking off the bean beetles, hoeing weeds, planting flowers in some of these unused sections, and watering. I am watering a few things in the daytime that I know really need water, like these sweet potato slips here. Look at these sweet potato slips. They look dead. Tell me if you think they're gonna grow. I'm just curious what y'all think. I'm in here in the house with Bree and the baby now, and she's about to do something exciting. She's about to take her first trip out of the house without the baby. She's about to be more than like 20 or 30 feet from him, maybe 100 feet.
I don't know
if you went out in the yard. Since the baby was born about, what, 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
They're not weaning him?
Do you remember the first time I left Grace and went to the store and back? I cried. Do you remember when I got back I was crying? I was like, is she okay?
And now Grace is gonna babysit.
Yeah.
While you're gone, right, Gracie? And this is our living room. It's an organization catastrophe moving towards order. Winter clothes are going away finally, now that Bree has energy, and summer clothes are coming out of bins. Crows looking for corn. I heard Donald going crazy out here, and I came out and the crows were in the garden, flew up. So maybe it turns out that Donald's more than a guard goose for the chickens. He's also a guard goose for the garden. But then I just heard a hawk too, so maybe that's what they're excited about. Whether he's excited about the crows in the garden or the hawks overhead, he's doing his job and alerting us, and hopefully keeping them at bay with his really loud noise. This is the new method I'm using to try to propagate cuttings. I haven't been very successful, but like I said, I'm learning. So just a plastic bag and a giant rubber band is creating this little greenhouse. There's no holes in the bottom of the bucket. The soil or rooting medium is moist, and what it's doing, at least, is successfully keeping my leaves from wilting and keeping them green until roots can grow. These are cold hardy kiwis and mulberries, probably 20 or 30 of them, so hopefully we get a couple out of this batch. So next I'm going to open these eggs in Grace's little cheap incubator that failed to hatch. They're officially failed. It's been 32 or 3 days now, no longer. If you're interested in buying this t-shirt, it's still available. The logo is a little bit larger on the current shirt that's available, and you can get it through Teespring or Amazon. The links are in the description. I also wanted to let you know that I'm putting up a new video on Patreon today. It's on the black locust tree and its uses in farming and in permaculture. I'm going to be transplanting some black locust seedlings because it's a cool nitrogen fixing plant. I was thinking about this today, and I think the reason that I could make a case for someone to support us on Patreon, it's twofold. It's one, if you're interested in the exclusive content that's over there. The second reason though is we have ability and imagination to create so much more as far as educational videos go, but for many of these projects, or many of the projects we want to do, we don't have the means and time. And so everyone who supports us on Patreon is just helping us move towards better video creation as well as getting that exclusive content. Plus, there's a really steep discount on these t-shirts for Patreon members, so you could go to Patreon, pledge $1 a month. I'll put a link in the video description to Patreon if you're interested. You can always sign up, and I suggest this to people. Sign up for $1 a month if you want to support us, and cancel it if you don't feel like it's worth it to you or you don't want to continue. And no hard feelings towards the majority of people who won't support us on Patreon. We're so happy to have everyone along on this YouTube journey. I'm a little bit worried about this because they could be rotten. I candled them, and I'm not experienced at candling, but I thought that they were developing when I candled them. So we may have partially developed baby ducks in here, or they could just be rotten eggs. But I'm busting them open because I want to find out like what happened to the best of my ability. Okay, nothing so far. It's kind of weird I have the ducks here. Nothing in that egg. There's a little duck inside this one. It's definitely dead. And really kind of gross and sad. Okay. That's really quite gross. I'm less grossed out and more just sad at these little ducks that 2 of them started to develop and didn't continue. I'm sorry y'all for showing shocking gross stuff on here. It's not my desire, but I don't also want to hide stuff that's relevant or might be helpful to anyone. There were 2 that were partially developed and 2 that had none. They actually were like close to being fully developed. I mean, at least it works. It developed them honestly most of the way. Don't worry, we'll get there. We're taking the hard path. The easy path would just be ordering ducklings, which we may do that next.
Let's go wash it and then put some soap in it.
Next, I'm going to turn this compost pile. I don't have to turn it at all. I just want to turn it because I want to see what's inside. Well, that was fun, but I don't think I'll be doing that again for a while, not just for entertainment value. Well folks, despite some sad events that failed hatch, this has been another great day on the homestead, and we'll see you in another video soon. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to our channel, and leave a comment. Let us know what you think about those sweet potatoes growing or not.